Race to secure these 6 exotics first. Your comprehensive guide to everything you need to know. Bandidos, welcome back to the Division 2, your go-to source for all things post-pandemic DC. I'm TuxedoBandido, and today we've got a special treat for you. The top 6 exotics every player must get first. These aren't just fancy toys, they're game changers that'll have you dominating raids, incursions, and everything in between. We're gonna break down each exotic, how to snag them, and why they're must-haves for your arsenal. And if you're a new or returning player, be sure to stick around for the bonus round as I drop the deets on the other exotics you're gonna want to get your hands on quickly. Let's do it! First up on the list is the Scorpio Exotic Shotgun. It's not just a shotgun, it's a beast, perfect for close quarter chaos. And the debuffs it dishes out to enemies are just icing on the cake. Want to turn the tide in your favor? Scorpio's got your back. This shotgun will stop an enemy in its tracks, giving you time to beat them down over the head with your gun and save you on ammo. It's great for new players looking for an edge on even the toughest enemies. This weapon especially shines in group play, as the user will make the target take 20% more damage from all sources. That means allies, skills, everything. It's an essential weapon on team support builds, like healers, and helps the group bring down even the strongest of bosses in the incursion, raids, legendary missions, and even the hunters and countdown. Honestly, I'm surprised this weapon even exists. Next, we've got the Coyote Exotic Mask. This bad boy is all about boosting your damage and supporting your squad. With its unique passive ability to buff both you and your teammates based on the distance enemies are encountered, Coyote is a team player's dream. You'll be tearing through enemies like never before. Now let's talk about the Vile Exotic Mask. This one's for the tactical geniuses out there. Inflict status effects on your enemies and watch them crumble under the damage over time. Most crowd control builds just aren't complete without it. It's not just a mask, it's a ticket to controlling the battlefield. Moving on, we've got the BTSU Exotic Gloves. If you're into skills, and who isn't, these gloves are a game changer, especially for healer concepts. They amplify your skills with overcharge and turn you into a support powerhouse. Trust me, your squad will thank you. Oh, now let's dive into the Memento Exotic Backpack. This one's a real game changer. Collect those trophies and you'll be dishing out insane damage while keeping yourself tanky. There's nothing better than the short-term combined with the long-term buffs of the Memento. It's the perfect blend of offense and defense, and why you see it on so many builds. It's so good it nearly destroys any other possibility in the slot space, and why I don't think there will ever be another exotic that brings in so much benefit like this one does. And that's one of the reasons why it's on the list. If you don't have this, you'll be missing out on, like, I don't know, 90% of the builds out there. Insane. Last but not least, we've got the Capacitor Exotic Assault Rifle. This one is a beast on the battlefield. High damage, best in class mods, attributes, and boosts to both weapon damage and skills. It's the assault rifle hybrid dreams are made of. When you need tech and weapon power, the Capacitor is your go-to. Now, these exotics aren't on the 6 must race to get list, but I'm adding them for new and returning players because they are often seen on so many builds and truly help you feel the power. Well, that's because you're actually wielding it. We've got the St. Elmo's Exotic Assault Rifle. This thing dominates the battlefield. High damage, great stability, best in class mods, 70 round mag, and shock rounds. It's the assault rifle dreams are made of. The non-exotic version was already a popular go-to, making this an easy crowd pleaser. No matter what other assault rifle is out there, whether it has more DPS or not, when you need precision, high damage, and stopping power on a weapon that feels great and actually impacts your player performance, St. Elmo's is your go-to. The Nemesis Exotic Sniper Rifle is a formidable powerhouse in the Division 2's arsenal, with its unparalleled precision and devastating impact. What sets the Nemesis apart is its unique talent, which charges up the weapon for an exceptionally powerful shot. This charged shot delivers staggering damage, making it a must-have for agents seeking to eliminate high-value targets or bosses with a single, well-placed shot. The Nemesis isn't just about raw damage, its versatility shines in various scenarios. Additionally, the Nemesis seamlessly integrates into sniper-focused builds, amplifying the build's efficiency when paired up with the Chainkiller chest piece. For players who appreciate a blend of precision, power, power and strategic play, the Nemesis stands as a pinnacle choice in the exotic sniper category. The Ninja Bike Messenger Bag, a true game changer in the Division 2, with its remarkable ability to unlock an additional attribute on both brand and gear sets. This unique exotic backpack introduces a level of build diversity and utility that significantly enhances an agent's versatility on the battlefield. What sets the Ninja Bike apart is its capacity to redefine how players approach their builds. By allowing an extra attribute on both brand and gear sets, it opens up a world of possibilities for customization. This flexibility transforms the Ninja Bike into a cornerstone for those who crave adaptability and tailor-made character setups. Finally, the Ouroboros exotic SMG emerges as a force to be reckoned with in the Division 2, with an unparalleled combination of high rate of fire, a sizable mag, and a game-changing rapid reload, essentially a tactical vector SMG on steroids. The Ouroboros boasts an impressive 1,600 rounds per minute and a 50-round magazine, setting a new standard for DPS in its category. The standout feature of the Ouroboros lies in its super fast reload, revolutionizing the gameplay experience. The Ouroboros becomes a relentless tool for shredding through enemies, making it an ideal choice for those who crave raw firepower and efficiency. Interestingly, the exotic talent of the Ouroboros seems almost overshadowed by its sheer damage output, with many players finding it challenging to recall its specific effect. This oversight is a testament to the weapon's dominance on the damage side. It's so good that players are too busy unleashing its devastating capabilities to even notice the intricacies of the exotic talent. Now you might be wondering, how the heck do I get my hands on these beauties? Don't worry, I've got you covered. But wait, there's more. In this section, we'll also be showcasing examples of the builds that make these exotics shine in the game modes where they truly excel. So the Scorpio exotic shotgun isn't difficult to get, but will require farming. It's in the general loot pool for exotics, so what you're looking for is targeted loot set to shotguns. Anywhere in the open world, the Countdown game mode is a great place to farm for exotics because you can set your targeted loot. Last but not least, you earn Countdown requisitions that are a currency that you can use to buy exotic caches and roll your dice for RNG to deliver the exotic you're seeking. You can pretty much put the Scorpio shotgun on any build, and this is a healer build. Variations of builds like this are used in the raids, in legendary, even heroic group gameplay. It's also used in the incursion, and so when you combine the Scorpio with talents like perfect opportunistic and additional damage to status affected targets from the specialization survivalist, you're really giving your team an edge to drop the tankiest of targets extremely quickly. And Septic Shock has a debuff of its own that alone gives your team an additional 20% damage to that affected target, and it does a hell of a job stopping enemies in their tracks with Disorient and Shock. The Coyote's Mask, also available in general targeted loot. Farm anywhere you see masks in the open world, or go to Countdown and set your targeted loot to masks. And exotic caches will also give you a chance of earning this exotic. The Coyote's Mask is extremely versatile. You can run it on shotgun builds, SMG builds, assault rifle builds, LMG builds, even sniper builds and rifle builds if you'd like. And it's great for solo gameplay, especially when you're looking for that 25% critical hit damage in short ranges, making it great for assault rifles and SMGs and even shotguns. But your team is especially going to love it when you run this thing because it's going to make them even stronger on the crit side too. So this is a pretty powerful striker build and something that you would see in the incursion and raids, legendary gameplay, heroic group gameplay. It even works in solo gameplay as well. The Vile Mask is so good I could talk about it for hours, but I'll spare you. Let's get straight into it. The Vile Mask is extremely unique, and these are the exotics we tend to love in the Division 2 because they stand out and allow for great build diversity. So this gives you toxic delivery that's powered up by basically explosive damage and status effects. One of the very best builds for this exotic is a 4-piece Eclipse. And this build is extremely powerful. It can make legendary content very easy, allowing a team to breeze through it. You can use Eclipse builds in solo gameplay, but for the most part, it shines in group play. It does have a special place in certain checkpoints for raids, but for the most part, you're going to see this used a lot more in legendary and full group play in heroic content as well. And one of the cool things that the Vile does is allows skills like Riot Foam and the Jammer Pulse that don't typically apply damage to enemies to actually apply damage to the enemies, because by applying the status effect, it triggers Toxic Delivery, which is a damage debuff based off of the concussion grenade and further enhanced by apply status effects on your build. And this build also works great with the Scorpio exotic because it applies a status effect, which in turn will also activate the Vile's talent Toxic Delivery. In many cases, I even prefer builds like this over healer and tank builds when playing the most difficult content in the game, because it truly does make it easier for me by holding those enemies still. I don't know a team that doesn't love a crowd control build as part of their squad. If you want to be a valuable member on any team, this is an exotic and build you have to have in your loadouts. The Vile Mask is also part of the general loot pool, the BTSU Data Gloves. This exotic is available in the general loot pool too. Now, the BTSU gloves aren't the most exciting exotic in the game. However, they are an essential, especially on healer builds. So if you want to be a well-rounded player and do things like incursions and raids and legendary content, in many cases, the team needs a healer and will be asking for one. And if you can step up in that position, then you're going to be an MVP in most people's squads. This is a typical healer build that you will see in things like the incursions and the rage and legendaries, or variations of it. It's running 4 pieces of future initiative with repair skills and skill haste everywhere, and it's strong enough to heal 8 players in raids. So the BTSU gloves has the right attributes for a healer with skill haste and repair skills, but what's really special about it is actually the ability to detonate your hive and overcharge your allies' skills. And that's why it's extremely important for difficult content such as raids or even incursions, because your allies are relying on reviver hives and you can reset those every 120 seconds, as well as putting your own skills on overcharge. So although this isn't the most exciting exotic in the game, it's an essential and why it's on the top 6 exotics you must get in the Division 2. All right, the Memento exotic backpack. You've probably seen this because it's basically on, like, I don't know, 90% of the builds out there. So if you don't have this, you probably feel like you're missing out on a lot of the action, and it's probably a little bit true. The Memento exotic is available in the general exotic loot pool, so farm anywhere you see backpacks. Now, the Memento just about works on every build. I use it on sniper builds, rifle builds, SMG builds, shotguns, pistols, and assault rifles and LMGs. And the build you're seeing here is actually my favorite and go-to build to farm massive amounts of XP on heroic content with all directives. I can even use it in the summit with 10 directives on legendary and smear the enemies all over the walls. And I wanted to use it specifically for this showcase because of the armor on it. The power of the kill confirmed trophies that the Memento drops you gives you the ability to scale up your armor to ridiculous amounts that I have a hard time even keeping track of. So yeah, this backpack gives you weapon damage, it gives you bonus armor, it gives you armor regen, it gives you skill efficiency, which includes everything: skill damage, status effects, repair skills, skill duration, skill health. It's amazing. And on this build, I'm running 4 pieces of Hunter's Fury with a rifle. I don't care, I'm not getting the shotgun damage, but we're getting amplified damage off of the set, and I have armor and headshot damage and protection from elites everywhere. If you want to see the full build breakdown video on this, then be sure to check out the link I've placed in the description area for more intel. The Capacitor is an amazing exotic assault rifle. It's got really good stats on it, like 12% damage to armor, which you don't see on any other assault rifle. Capacitance gives you weapon damage for each skill tier you have on your build, and gives you 60% skill damage when you're at full stacks. And that makes this a great gun for those that like to use their skills and their gun too. And it's got some amazing mods. I mean, look at this: 30% critical hit damage, 10% chance, some handling, larger mag, and a reload time of 1.6 seconds. Ridiculous. This is the kind of build that you're gonna see it on. Now, the reality is that there are more builds for the Capacitor than I can even try to showcase, because it's extremely flexible and allows you to feel pretty good even though you're not running many red cores. And so I'm pairing it up with Technician and the Memento backpack for some extra skill tiers, and the rest is basically a striker build with skill tiers and crit damage and crit chance everywhere. I'm running chest gun to chest piece again to complement the mods that come with the weapon and glass cannon, but you can also run something like Obliterate or even Kinetic Momentum. With the Capacitor, you're going to want to be running damage skills like the Striker Drone or the Assault, but it also works with artillery builds or anything that puts out damage, really. Now, you're not going to be able to farm the capacitor in the general exotic loot pool till you unlock it first. You can unlock and earn the capacitor in just a few hours, really, by playing the summit. All you have to do is complete 5 challenges in a single session in the summit to get it. The St. Elmo's is a beauty, and great news, she's available in the open world anywhere targeted loot is set to assault rifles. So here's a real basic and starter setup for the St. Elmo's. And as you can see, I'm using strikers because it's a classic way to introduce you to these weapons for general gameplay, whether it be legendary or the incursions or 4-man heroic or running solo. This build is going to work, and it's going to be extremely effective. Remember, the power of St. Elmo's is its giant mag, but really it's its mods too. It's got amazing mods. 20% weapon handling mod is unheard of with 20% crit chance. It's unbelievable. The Nemesis is no doubt an extremely strong sniper and really good even as a secondary weapon, which is usually the way I run it. What you're seeing here is a pretty classic sniper setup. So I'm running it with the sharpshooter specialization and then the hot shots, which is giving this marksman rifle damage, weapon handling, headshot damage, and a bunch of other perks. If you want to hit extremely large numbers, then you're going to want to run Headhunter for your talent and put headshot damage and weapon handling everywhere you can. The backpack I'm showcasing here is a Raldi with weapon damage and handling and headshot damage and vigilance, but there's so many other ways to run this. In order to get the Nemesis, you basically have to go through a multi-step process. It's a project. And so I'm going to quickly run it through here. So here are the general steps to acquiring the Nemesis. So first, you're going to progress through the main storyline until you reach World Tier 5, and then you have to complete the Tidal Basin Stronghold mission. You're gonna have to run it again, and at the very end there's gonna be a room that you need a key to access that you would have grabbed along the way, and you'll have a chance to receive the Drestia SR1 named designated marksman rifle. So deconstruct this weapon to obtain the Nemesis sniper rifle blueprint. The blueprint that you just got will lead you to various hyena strongholds where you need to defeat specific hyena bosses. Each will drop a specific component required to crafting the Nemesis. Once you acquire all the required components, which will be the barrel, the bolt, and the stock, you can head to the crafting station at the White House, craft the Nemesis using the obtained blueprints and the components. Got that? All right, you're good to go. So when it comes to the Ninja Bike exotic backpack, it's not usually about damage. There's very few and limited builds where adding the Ninja Bike exotic backpack is actually going to bring you more damage. So the backpack is really about adding more utility to your build in the form of maybe armor on kill or regen, weapon handling, stuff like that, which in turn can actually help you improve your gameplay performance to actually clear content faster. It brings a ton of build diversity, and here's a great example. I just featured this build, and this is a build that's going to shine in TU20 Season 3 2024 of Year 5, and it's running the Scalpel, which gives you future perfection. In the future, this weapon is going to give you 4 skill tiers plus overcharge on kill. And so by running the Ninja Bike, I get 1 skill tier, and pairing it up with the Brazos, it unlocks a 2nd skill tier. That makes this a 6 skill tier build with 6 red cores. Super cool. Remember, the Ninja Bike unlocks a gear set attribute. That's how we are able to only run 1 piece of Brazos to get that skill tier, but we're also able to only put on 1 hotshot and get that 30% weapon handling and 30% marksman rifle damage too. Super, super fun. And I got Headhunter on here, headshot damage and handling everywhere. So this thing's hitting hard, one-shotting pretty much everything that stands in my way while giving me 6 skill tiers at the same time. Now, the Ninja Bike exotic can be farmed where targeted loot is set to backpacks. The only way to get the Ouroboros exotic SMG is by completing the Paradise Lost incursion. This is a 4-man game mode that requires very specific mechanics to complete. When you do, you are awarded a key that unlocks the cache at the end that gives you a 10% chance to get the exotic. There's also a 1% chance for the exotic to drop from any of the bosses along the way. The gun is pretty versatile, so there's a lot of different ways to run the Ouroboros on builds. You can put it on Hunter's Fury or run it with the Striker, which is my favorite. So this is a pretty basic build I'm using just to showcase it because it's so versatile, but it works really well with Strikers because it makes it even faster, which is just kind of fun, but it also gives it incredible amp damage, and the gun does a good job at creating the stacks and maintaining them for Strikers, which allows the chest piece to be a pretty good option. Otherwise, I'm just running crits. Now, I tend to run tons of armor on this setup because I'm so strong that I can. so why not? And I love pairing it up with the Memento, of course, because it is an SMG and you are playing aggressive in close quarter combat, and you are doing a really job at getting your kills. No matter how much armor you're actually running, why not take advantage of those very powerful, very hard to beat kill confirmed short-term plus long-term bonuses? Is there an exotic you feel should be on the list? Drop a comment and let us know why you think it makes the cut. Thank you for hanging out with me today. My name is TuxedoBandido, and this was another episode of The Division 2. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The Division 2. And if you like builds like this, check out the recommended build video I have here for you. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
Follow me.
I get it.